you got to be onto this. You got to tell me if we're live or not.
Really
He's done this before. We've had like a full yarn for like 7 minutes and then didn't realize. And he's like, oh yeah, by the way, guys, that was all on camera. What? It was so ridiculous.
You could see it in his eyes. He was about to do it.
Yeah, he tricks us up all the time.
Fantastic.
But anyway, let's welcome on Mr. Caird himself, Michael Caird.
Thank you very much.
Well, yeah, go on. Yeah.
I was about to say, it's a pleasure to be back here on the podcast, as we were just having a bit of a yarn a little bit earlier. It was 3 years ago I was back on this podcast.
And you're underneath the name Kid Caird back then as well.
I was.
And now you changed
somewhere on that big ass board.
Yeah, somewhere on the board. It took us, we were talking about before, it took us like, what, 10 minutes to find it?
Yeah, and it's one of the biggest ones there. But yes, I was Kid Caird back then, and now I am just Michael Caird, my own name. Yeah. I rebranded late last year. Felt like at the time I was ready for a rebrand. You know, ever since I was a DJ, God, 8+ years ago, whatever it was, I ran the name Kid Caird, and you know, a lot of things sort of were like kind of at play. You know, I started growing more facial hair out, so I can't really call myself Kid Caird that. But I was maturing as a person, as an artist, so that's just where it sort of came at with a rebrand. And I was thinking of like different names and trying to think creative, and I just kind of thought to myself, well, why don't I just put my name to my music? And it's that official. It's literally my own name. So I ran with it, and I'm so stoked to actually just call myself by my name.
Yeah.
But the one thing I knew I wanted to do was keep Caird, so my last name in that, because I don't know what it is, but people just, a lot of people do pronounce my last name wrong. I've had Card, I've had Caird, I've had Charizard once. Don't ask.
Okay.
Yeah, it just.
I was about to say.
I just don't know how that happened, but yeah. So I knew I wanted to keep Caird in there because I'd worked like 8+ years for people to actually pronounce it right, and I wasn't going to stop.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, that's the rebrand, and now we're here.
That's it. So then, with that rebrand and everything, you've also been on tour.
Yes.
And every year you're going to England as well, by the sounds of it as well.
Yes. So since I was asked on the podcast, I did a Australian UK tour. And all.
Do you have any media for that? Can we pull that up?
Look, there'll be. No, there might not be Instagram posts on there because with rebranding, I took all the posts away.
That's fair enough, yep.
But yeah, I played all around. Perth regional, regional sort of WA. And then flew over to the UK. I played my first festival over there, bunch of nightclub shows.
What festival? How was that?
Bournemouth Sevens, so down in Bournemouth.
Bournemouth Sevens, that sounds epic.
Yeah, Bournemouth Sevens is a wild uni-based festival. It's actually like sports mixed with music. They had.
How does that work? People are playing tennis while music's going.
Yeah, literally. So the festival, I think it kicks off like something like 9-10 o'clock in the morning. They had
Bournemouth.
Oh, you spelled that wrong. So Bournemouth, Bourneth. So Bournemouth mouth, Bournemouth.
We're getting stuff for Broome.
Yeah, well, it's probably going to search like that.
Yeah, because we are in WA.
But yeah, so it's like there's like netball competitions, and then there's like rugby competitions. Yeah, that's the branding. I played that festival because in the morning it's all like sport-based activities and shit, and then it's their music afterwards. So they had like a drum and bass sea container side area. They had like this like house music Rizzler stage, which I played at.
Yeah.
Me and my mate Curly, we went back to back on the main stage. Switch disco, low stepper, played on that stage. It was a great time. I ran that.
How many people were there? Cause
thousands. It was like stacked. It was great. So that was such an awesome and unique experience. Did that tour. I came back to Perth and then, hustled and really.
When did you come back? How long ago was that?
So if we're going back 3 years since we last obviously spoke on this podcast, it was literally like a month after. So that May, I went on that tour.
Wow, so
it was like
really straight after.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And I was probably away for about a month and a half. Mm-hmm. Came back, focused on music, and then it was the summer here. And I've been doing that ever since, and as you said, I had been going to the UK at least once a year. You know,
you've got family over there now, right?
yeah. Well, my wife
wife's
is from there,
that's
so
it, yeah.
you know, we are married, so I do have family there
Yeah,
now.
there you go. Yeah.
So we always go over there and always aim to try go over there where we can. But yeah, UK is like the second home for me.
Whereabouts in the UK? Because it's so beautiful over there.
Oh, it is. So I'm over there a lot of in Cornwall area. So
you're in Cornwall.
Cornwall.
Okay.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah,
there.
my parents went there recently. Apparently, it's incredible.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
Like it's just stunning skies. The architecture's really nice.
Yeah.
Like,
So many hills, so much greenery. It's nuts.
can we actually pull that up? If that's right. Cornwall.
Literally Cornwall.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. If you type in Cornwall Truro, that's the area that Truro. So Truro.
I know. Yeah, Cornwall. Yeah, like a wall. And then, and how do you spell it?
Truro. So Truro.
Truo. There you go.
So that was the sort of centralish town that
Let's have a look at the images and
was
stuff.
sort of
Oh yeah, even that. Yeah, visit Cornwall. Yeah, my parents were telling me it's like it is incredible.
Oh yeah,
in that area.
there's no other place where you sort of see the sights and the architecture, it's a beautiful, beautiful spot. It is a bit of a way away from like, you know, the main sort of like hustle and bustle, but when you go see family, it's just great to sort of detune and, you know, just explore the beautiful scenery.
Yeah.
But the one thing that the UK have got down packed is traveling by train. Their train system is great. Big ups the GWR. Great. I think it's the Great Western Railway.
Yeah.
GWR right there.
Yep.
So you know, you literally just can get on a train and this is from like London Paddington, take it all the way down to Cornwall. It takes 5 hours or something like that. Oh, actually, no, sorry, I stand corrected. Not 5 hours. It's 5 hours to drive, probably there.
Yeah,
but like for that, 3.5 hours, 4 hours. So just like
I didn't think it would be that because like England's so small. So
it is, but it's
huge.
You're literally going from like London all the way southwest to like the very end point, which that's Cornwall. So traveling internally in the UK is fantastic.
Yeah.
So that's, you know, where we'll spend like say a week or so down in Cornwall. You know, I can then be like, all right, I'm jumping on a train, going up here, and then I'm catching a train back, and that's what I've done a lot of the time, and it's been fantastic. So yeah, so over that couple of years, that's, you know, essentially what I've been doing, and then coming back out here, focusing on music. But the last time I was in the UK, which was towards the end of last year, around that September, October time, that was my most recent time, and I ventured out to Amsterdam because I attended.
Why not, right?
Well, also yes, why not? But I attended ADE for the first time.
Yeah, we were talking about it before. Can we Google that? So it's the Amsterdam Dance
Event. So ADE, I'd say, is probably the most well-known, biggest electronic music conference, and it's held once a year, generally a week in October, and goes for about 5 days or so, and pretty much like in the day you can attend all these different conferences, so you know there'll be like music producers, singers, songwriters, you know, all doing these talks showing their sort of insights. You know, you can get I think it's like the AD Pro Pass, which, you know, was actually quite cool and quite fun to have. I think I got the Pro Pass for my time. And
quite expensive at all?
Look, Amsterdam, it is a bit expensive, but I have been wanting to go to this conference for a few years. So
it's a worldwide thing as well.
Oh, yeah. I met so many people that were coming from Italy, from the States, from, you know, it was just like
and you were
worldwide.
just like, what's up?
Pretty much.
You're like, hey,
they picked up on the
Aussie.
they picked up on the Australian accent. And they're like, oh, you're pretty far from home. I'm like, yeah, no shit. Pretty much.
Yeah.
So like Amsterdam itself is a hot tourist spot, and it is a bit expensive, but you know, prepare for it and save for it. Essentially, that's what I did. So then, I in the daytime. Networking, you learn so much. You know, I remember walking into like this venue, and in that venue I could try all the latest upcoming hardware bits of, like, you know, there was Splice just talking about their product, and then they had Ableton there talking about all their hardware products, and
I think I have seen this before because Laid Back Luke did a talk about new Pioneer equipment and what features and functions. This was years and years.
It most likely was from ADE. So it was an awesome experience in the day, and then at nighttime, it's just so many raves, so many just parties, but everywhere. And it was like literally like you have a pop-up party here, you have a pop-up party here. You know, you're not going to get to all of them, like plain and simple, because there is honestly just so goddamn many of them.
So much stuff to do.
You know, I had no idea what to expect.
Were you going to say something, Jasper?
No.
Oh, okay. I saw you pull the mic in. I thought you were going to...
No.
No, that's a bit... Yeah, sorry.
I was going to make a comment on how good this photo is.
It is a very good photo. So
yeah, that's a good photo.
ADE accommodate an appeal to like a music producer, an artist, but also a digital creator. So you know, very much in the arts elements. They're all about catering to music, to arts, to creatives, which I really, really was inspired by. So went over there and just immersed myself in that experience.
Just absorb it all.
Yeah, and I was very fortunate enough that because I have signed some records to some labels around the world. There was they found out that I was going to ADE and hit me up like, "Oh, are you going to ADE this year?" I'm like, "Yeah, I've decided I actually am." Like, "Oh, well, we're running a event. You want to be on the lineup?" I'm like, "Okay, excellent."
Played
Yes,
at ADE.
I played a good couple shows. So did like a little tour, if you will, of ADE. And it was awesome. Got
That's
to have that
incredible.
experience. Yeah, it was really, really good fun.
Is that under the new alias? Or
It was all under the new alias.
Any
I think that was like
footage?
one of the first sort of ones. So if you pulled up my Instagram, you would see it would be like a yellow sort of post of the two. I think I played two sets there. First one was under Purple Tea Records, and then the second one was Candy Flip Records. So big shout out to the crew there.
That's
for
so
that.
good.
But yeah, after ADE, that had left me super, super inspired because
Just try Instagram, just normal Instagram, and then you might have to sign in.
Yeah, but what's your... Do you have an updated...
my Instagram is just Michael Caird Music. That would be it. Yeah, so from ADE, I was just super inspired. I was fortunate to meet a lot of people that I never thought that I would sort of meet, and just sort of
Log in with Facebook.
it's just sort of networking abilities as well. It's honestly just like an amazing sort of place,
Yeah,
really.
it'd be incredible. And just every year you'd go, you'd meet new people, right?
Yeah, but obviously for someone like, you know, being in Australia, it's obviously harder to get there. Whether, you know, being in the UK or if you're around Europe, you know, they travel by train, they do all that sort of stuff.
Sorry to cut you off. You have to click send SMS at the bottom. Yeah.
Bit of technical difficulties, eh?
It's not technical difficulties, but Google Chrome sucks. It's good if you know how to use it. All right, that code was... I'm so sorry. Where did it get sent to?
It would have already been sent to you...
Oh, here we go. No. That code is 293376. So sorry. All right, we're into Instagram. We can pull the videos up now.
You guys can hack it now.
Yeah, that's it.
Hack the mainframe.
This is just because we set up a new desk and I haven't signed into everything and done the whole lot. But we're good. We're good now.
Test and trial shit, it's what happens.
It's real. It's
Yeah.
human, right? We were talking about this earlier as well.
Exactly. This is
real
this is
content.
what happens on podcasts.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
You played a few shows over ADE and they worked out really, really well.
yeah, they worked out really well. If you scroll right to the bottom,
And they're
you'll
just
see.
1 hour shows or like...
Yeah, so the just sort of like 1 hour shows. I posted quite a bit since then, so you probably got keep going down,
that's
like probably down towards the end. Because I did like sort of like a recap of it, which, you know, and I was saying before, the sheer sort of like abilities of just like meeting the crew. So scroll up a little bit. Okay, so that the flags, yeah, that one there.
What was the one of you eating the ice cream? That looked
Oh yeah, you'll see that one. So like, this was like a recap from it, and you know, when you skim through the photos, right? That was, you know, watching Martin Inkin and Sam Puncher, which Martin Inkin's a good mate of mine. I supported him when he came out to Perth a few years ago. So obviously linking up with him again was fantastic. Meeting Chris Lake in the flesh.
You met Chris Lake.
Met Chris Lake in the flesh.
Damn, all right.
Such a nice guy.
Yeah.
Gave me USB. That was me at the first show. It was a nice little intimate venue. They absolutely loved it, frothed it. It was, you know, such a good time. And So those are the crew from Trackstack. Now, not too sure if you guys heard of Trackstack before, but to summarize what basically Trackstack is, right? If you're a music artist and you make a track, you want to send your music out to people to listen to and potentially support, whatever that may be. So to do that, in the past, before Trackstack came along, you'd have to do some digging and try to find out what someone's email might be or how you actually send promos, to them.
Yeah.
But to do that is very hard, and you never know that if you're going to send a track to someone, if it's actually going to land in their inbox. You don't know if it's heard. There's so many variables to it. So Trackstack came along, and when they came along, I was actually in the UK at the time, one of my times I was there, and I saw it on socials and inquired about it and signed up to it when they were in their beta stage. So I was one of the first on their platform.
That's so good. Yeah.
And just was using it all this sort of time. What they've done with this is that they've streamlined it. So these big artists, you got like Jamie Jones, Chris Lake, John Summit, and all these labels now are using it, like Experts Only, Black Book Records, Fisher's Catch and Release. All these big people are using it. So someone like myself, I make a track and I want to send it out to these people. I log into Trackstack, I upload the track, simple upload to that, and then I can just go through the Discover It page and just be like, right, do you want to send tracks to Chris Lake, or do you want to send tracks to Jamie Jones, or do you want to send tracks to whoever it may be? Cool. You can select that person. You can be like, cool, Michael Caird demo, promo, whatever it is. Send them a little message like, hey, cool, seeking feedback, whatever it is, and send it. You will get notifications when they have listened to it, and then they can actually choose to decline it, to support it, accept it, and it's just streamlined. It's great, right?
That's good.
It is, right? Now,
I can tell subscription now. I can see pricing. Can we pull that up?
So the everything's subscription based, right?
That's it.
I think personally, and this is my mindset on this, I would definitely pay that subscription to get a streamlined process.
To streamline it all.
Yeah.
Right.
But then also as well, like, that's just only scratching the surface of what it is that they do. You can actually, there's something that they've launched called, I think it's the Trackstack Studio, where, you can actually create like graphic arts and then videos to help with like the promo content side of things. If you've, like, say for example, sent like a basic message like asking feedback, and your goal is to get some feedback on this track, you can actually like save that message, and so it's like streamlined. It's all just about making the process easier for the user.
It's all in one.
It is. It has been fantastic.
Yeah.
So I've been using it ever since that beta stage, which was like maybe 2022. And when it was like maybe a few weeks before I was going to ADE, I went with my good friend Birdie. His artist name is Conchu the Child. So big shout out to him.
Big shout out to our listeners as well and our commenters.
Yes.
Big shout out to Levi and Alex Fitz.
Big ups, Fitzy.
Levi's actually from Radio Margaret River.
Oh, wicked.
And he's looking for DJs.
Big ups, Levi.
Yeah, so
I'm not too sure when I'm down there next, but
it's a long way.
There's a lot of wicked talent down the south. I'm sure they're not shy DJs down there. There's some wicked talent.
That's it. But yeah, keep going. So
so went over. So I went to AD with my mate Birdie, and a couple of weeks before, I was tracking socials, and I think it was Trackstack put up on like the stories like, oh, we're doing this mixer. So to apply to this mixer, here's this sort of link. And it was just like a Google form. So I saw it. I was like, oh, cool. Applied for it. It was like pretty stuck standard, like, name, contact, all that sort of stuff. Kind of like an RSVP.
Yeah.
So when it came around to the day and then the kickoff time, I made sure I RSVP'd and had a +1, brought Birdie along. So we got in, and it was me and him in this like very, very narrow sort of like Japanese themed bar, which I loved. I was like, cool, excellent.
Pretty cool though, yeah.
And we got our name like sort of ticked off, and then I remember we went to this bar, and they were like, we were like, oh yeah, can we get like sort of 2 drinks? And they're like, oh yeah, so do you work for Trackstack or do you work for this company here? Because it was like a Trackstack and another mixer, and we were kind of like, and I was
Trackstack, yeah.
Well, I was just kind of like, I use Trackstack, and I think they kind of like took that as like, okay, yeah, Trackstack. And I was kind of, okay. And then before I knew it, drinks in hand. So look, can't complain about that.
That's not bad.
But I had email communication for both of the guys. So you've got George and Cameron. And I wanted to put faces to the name. So I was scouting around the room and I saw the Trackstack logo on these t-shirts. And that goes back to the photo. As soon as I saw it, I went up to him and just be like, hey, I just want to introduce myself. My name's Michael. I have to ask, are you George or are you Cameron? And I actually went to Cameron and I said, are you George? And I went, and then vice versa. So they're kind of like, no, I'm the other one. I'm the other one.
Yeah, that's a good way to introduce.
Yeah. So, well, you got to shoot your shot, right?
Yeah, that's it.
But I said to him, I was like, I want to introduce myself. My name is Michael Caird. I'm not too sure if you would recall like our previous email communication or just any sort of communication, but I just want to say like a very big ups to you boys for creating this platform. It's been incredibly streamlined for, people that want to use it. I, love using the platform myself. And I told them my story, right? I told them that I've used it for a long time. I send out so many tracks. Majority of them get rejected though, right? And I'm okay with that because I would much rather know that someone's listening to my track and if they didn't like it, okay, this is art at the end of the day and art is always subjective.
Yeah.
So
that's the best way to look at it.
Exactly.
That's the best
and this
way.
is what they were saying. They were like, man, you've got such a really good positive mindset about it. And in my mind, I'm thinking, well, there's no point being a depressed fuck about it. Like, you just got to get on with it and just live life to the fullest and be happy about stuff because that's what you need to be happy with life.
Should be, yeah.
But I was talking to them more, and they originally said, they said to me like, we'd love to do a story about you on the actual socials. So I'm like, that'd be fantastic. Like, absolutely, yes. So when they told me that, got in my reminders because I might have had a couple of drinks. So I was like, am I going to remember this in the morning? The answer's no. So in that moment, when I had that conversation, I was like, cool, whip out the phone in the reminders, set it for like a few days time after the conference of just like reminder, email, or hit up George, Cameron, Trackstack, whatever the reminder was, just so it was there. Cool, set, put my phone away. Obviously, that time came around.
Yeah.
I had the reminder. I was like, wait, what was this sort of reminder?
Yeah,
I remember it.
Yeah.
So I just, I hit them up on socials. They put me in contact with their head of marketing, Luke, and, we had a video call. And from that, he was like, bro, you've got such a bunch of good ideas. Like, let's do a sort of partnership deal where I create content for Trackstack, and a lot of like it is about, it's a series called 200 Tracks Later, meaning that I'm just a Australian artist, music producer that has used the platform for quite some years. I've sent out a bunch of records, and look, majority of them get rejected. Some of them get, supported. Some of them get shortlisted. But here's what I do. Here's my mindset. Here's how to look at things. It's all about perspective, and it's all about mindset, mentality. The stronger the mind, the stronger the power.
Exactly.
And yeah, we're up like, I don't know, something like 8 episodes or something, and I've still got plenty more sort of go. And that is now a partnership. I got it, and I got all that from. I was very fortunate to get that from ADE, and just that sort of experience.
That sounds incredible.
Yeah, if you go to Instagram, profile, you'll see the cover photos of it.
So it's called 200 Tracks.
So if you just go to scroll up to the Instagram, so any of the introduction, the trends versus culture, that's the most latest one that I've done. So talking about trends versus culture in the music industry, because there's not a lot of conversation around that. But it's always collaborated posts, and it's just educating about what is a trend? What is a culture? Well, that's in this video, that is. But, there's been other videos. So if you get out of that one and you scroll down, you'll see the headline, the sort of topic. So keep going. There's label relationships, there's content ideas, there's, and it just dives into that sort of stuff. And all of that stems from ADE. So
it's incredible. It's just the inspiration to go, I'm going to do something about this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that was, something I know I was very fortunate to get from, but I'm very, very grateful. Meeting all of the crew, we attended another mixer, me and Birdie, and it was a disco-based mixer. And I love disco music. It's my wife's favorite music genre. And as soon as I actually saw it, I sent it to her. I'm like, I know you're going to be in the UK. but I'm going to this, and I'm low-key rubbing in your face because, like, wanted to. And she was like, fuck. But, you know,
Such a cute couple.
it's what we do. Love you, Georgie. Yeah. And, yeah, from that, turns out that Disco Mixer was actually a sub-label of Tool Room Records. So Tool Room Records, probably one of the biggest house music labels in all of the world, with some top releases. Tool Room, so it's literally Tool Room.
Oh, yep.
So there I met the head A&R, label manager. There was artists like Jax Jones, Tony Romero, just so many people like around there in this like venue. And it was just like you just look at it and be like, oh, that's that person. Shit, that's that person.
Yeah, oh my
shit,
God.
I just played one of your tracks. Holy shit. They're like, that's just only like scratching the surface of ADE.
Yeah.
But as I said, it was a bucket list thing for me, and it was a dream to go. So to be able to attend, to get a few gigs, and be able to get some collaborations, work with the awesome industry people that I look up to, was awesome.
It just seems like if you're a DJ, a producer, and you want to get more into music, go to this thing. Like, to hear your experience sounds so inspiring. Like, it's incredible.
It is. Now, because there are so many events that run throughout this conference, a lot of people do go to these events. And, by all means, go to these events. You're literally going to be chopping, changing, going through all this sort of stuff.
But you just pay one fee and then you get access to everything within the complex, right?
There is ways on that. You will sometimes attend free raves. Sometimes you have to pay stuff.
Makes sense, though, because of production then.
Remember, my biggest advice to anyone that is going to go to ADE, you are human. Don't run yourself short. Like, don't go hard too early, Over in Europe, they do it differently.
Yeah.
They will party till 6, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. And that's a standard.
Till 6, 7, 8 a.m. in the morning?
Well, of course I did a couple times. But, I think I structured it well, where I did have some meetings set up at some of the days where it was like 9, 10 o'clock kickoff, doing some meetings with some labels, to do some releases and tee something up there. So because I had those set in there, I was holding my own self accountable by being like, I can't go too hard.
Yeah, that's it.
Maybe 2, 3 in the morning. Okay, cool. We can still like manage that, but the 6, 7, 8, I could not do that.
No.
So, be strategic, but also immerse yourself.
Yeah,
that's my best advice I give to anyone. But go into it with a plan. If you are a music producer and you want to get more label releases, that's your plan. So focus on, meeting and networking with labels. If you want to run your events and bring a, say, European style over to your area of residency or wherever that may be in the world, go and experience what it's like in Amsterdam, because the different, venues and actual atmosphere that they bring is something that could be studied and applied if that is what you're wanting to do. Always go into it with a plan.
Would you say, just out of my own curiosity, that the whole entire event, 90% of people spoke English in a way? You didn't have any problems with language barriers because it's Amsterdam?
Never had a problem with language barriers. I'm pretty sure they teach English in Amsterdam as
it's a second language everywhere.
Yeah, pretty much.
You just never know sometimes.
I didn't have any language barriers personally, so that was fantastic there.
When they asked you to play gigs, do you have to sign anything? Like, do they have to? Obviously have to apply, but I don't know. It's just an idea. I thought maybe a podcast over there.
It definitely could be a possibility. I know that I know a few mates that were looking at trying to run their own events in ADE.
Yeah.
And then for the labels that I was on the lineups for, because I'd signed music to them in the past and signed to them, they had been running events there for a few years. So I didn't personally inquire about how they did it. I think I was just sort of blown away and just happy, like, hey, cool. I'm happy to be amongst it, and it was a great experience.
Yeah, 100%.
So all that being said, it has left me and still has left me super, super inspired, which then brings into the topic that we obviously may want to discuss, the industry link
Here
events.
We go.
Drum roll, please.
Yeah, so you've mainly come on, well, not mainly, but to catch up and hang out. But also you're running this amazing event, the industry thing. And from what I've seen, it's it's basically giving a place for people that want to get more involved, to meet people, to network, to get education, the whole lot, just to go and hang out.
Exactly. So the Industry Link event, the main inspiration came from my time at ADE.
Yeah.
You know, I had such an amazing time over there and met so many people, and it was just an amazing experience. And then it got me thinking, Australia-wide could use something like this in the same sort of like aspect, like your ADE, your Miami Music Week, your Ibiza Music Summit.
Can we Google those as well, if that's right, Jasper?
Yeah,
I'm
so
interested.
So ADE, which is the one we've already searched up, that's I would personally say that would be like the biggest, most well-known. Miami Music Week is another one. That's where Miami Ultra generally is hosted, so big festival. And then it's,
I've heard of that one, definitely.
Yeah, I feel like on socials, a lot of people have heard of Miami Music Week. So it's the same sort of concept, you know. There's so many venues, there's so many like gigs and things to go on there. So everyone in the music industry is there. So you can tee up meetings, you can tee up, you know, face-to-face meets. You can just go to these parties and raves and actually experience some awesome, wicked talent, right? You know, there's the Ibiza Music Summit, which is, you know, getting more and more traction. And it's all of these are music conferences that attract people across the world, right? So this got me thinking, I'm like, I want to attract people to Australia for the same sort of concept. And also being in Perth, yes, we are quite secluded from Australia and from the world. But my ultimate goal is that if I can get people traveling from the world to come to Perth, that would be fantastic. So that was my sort of inspiration, and I, you know, started getting like, you know, ideas together. And then my good friend JQ, he had been in the music industry. Shout out to JQ. You know, he been in the industry a long time. He's a bartender, and you know
both those guys.
They're great. And
Furman and JQ on,
that's it. Yep.
So knowledgeable about what they
exactly
do.
that.
So switched on and just smart cookies.
So
Very cool dudes.
he hit me up and he told me that a venue that he used to work at, Neon Palms, they were looking at running an event on Sundays. And this was around the December time, so going into summer. And he knew that I wanted to run a similar sort of event base, you know, similar to sort of ADE, was just like networking, so different sort of aspect to it. And he put my name forward to the venue manager, and he helped tee it up. It was literally a phone call meeting. So, you know, he was like, this is Michael, this is Em, brief introductions. I'm literally on the phone like, hey, Em, hey, how you doing? My name is Michael. And then it kind of actually felt a bit like a phone interview, if I'm being honest, where like I had to just sort of like tell her who I was.
Yeah.
And the idea behind the event. Yeah. So, you know, I was, you know, went straight to it. I was like, look, this is my idea. This is my concept. I want to build the community more than, you know, just continue building it and continue feeding into it, right? But I wanted it to make it inviting, but also streamlined. Streamlined was a big thing, similar to what I was saying about TrackStack, how they created a concept and made it incredibly streamlined. Yep. That was something that I wanted to do. So one thing that I always had this idea on, and I knew I wanted to sort of emphasize, was that I had been in the music industry a long time. From that, I've developed some great friendships, like yourself. And I was a photographer before I was a DJ. Yep, indeed. But I was a photographer before I was a DJ. Then I was a DJ, and then I was a promoter, and then a music artist. So multiple different roles within the music industry. And I've developed some awesome and beautiful friendships. And that means I do know a lot of people within the music industry. You know, these are some of the top promoters in Perth. These are some of the top artists, all that. So the main thing I wanted to focus on and sort of like give it that interesting new edge was that I'm going to invite these industry professionals down, right? But we're not just stopping there. Every industry professional that I invite down wears a name tag. It's one of those, hello, my name is so-and-so. So it's kind of like you're meeting someone for the brand new time. First time. Yeah. So it will say, hello, my name is, and then it will be their name. So, you know, it could be, hello, my name is Alex. Hello, my name is Michael Caird, whatever. They then wear another sort of badge underneath it, and that badge will say what it is that they actually do. So it's music producer, an artist, a DJ, a content creator, a promoter. Generally if it's like promoter, have like, what event they sort of run, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So the concept behind that is whether you are a fresh face in the industry or whether you've been in the industry for some years and, it's sort of like, I guess, set like your foundation, or if you just like a good time and like to meet new people, these industry professionals are coming down. You can literally look around the room and see someone wearing a name tag. Cool, that's your first indication. That's an industry professional. Now you can obviously read the name. Okay, so there's Bob, and Bob over there is a promoter. Hey, I've just started DJing and I want to get more gigs, and if Bob is this promoter for this event that I actually enjoy, okay, he's someone that I want to talk to. And the next thing is that this event, these industry professionals know that they're going to get approached. They're going to have people asking. So I'm very much trying to encourage the factor of it's okay. Go up to them, introduce yourself. This is a safe space to do so. But the expectation has already been set, and we are all in this for the same reason, which is the love of music and creative.
And arts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, something I did notice, and this is obviously happening ever since COVID, but social anxiety has definitely affected a lot of people. It's affected myself in ways I never thought it would as well, and no doubt a lot of people could probably resonate with that.
Yeah.
So, it's not going to go away, and it's better to be aware of it than not. But because of that, it does mean it is a little bit difficult for some people to actively go up to people and be like, hey, my name's this and my name's this. When I was a ADE, a lot of people do know I'm a bit of a yapper, extrovert, and I don't have that many, concerns or issues of just going to someone and be like, hello, my name's Michael, this is what I do. Tell me about you. I've introduced myself, talk to me. Let's have a conversation, let's have a chat. But that's not everyone. So I wanted to make it streamlined. I wanted to make it easy. And this is the way that I knew I could do it, by inviting my mates down who love the industry because they're in it for that same reason as I am. So they've all been down. How awesome. They wear the name tag and they know people are going to come up to them. They're like, cool, share the knowledge. These people have been amazing. The first event that I ran, we had we had Destic, we had Bailey and Isaac from Together Group. We had Bodie, who was an amazing DJ content creator. We had Hugh Marsh, which a talented photographer.
One of the best in Perth.
Absolutely.
Hugh, you're up there.
Absolutely.
Incredible at photos.
We had some awesome industry professionals down, and they all just got amongst it because they had the sheer love for it. Going over a bit of tangent, but that's sort of like the whole edge of what I wanted to try encompass, and that's what I was essentially back on the phone talking to the venue manager M from Neon Palms, being like, so this is the idea, this is all it's all that, and it was resonated really well. Now she had a couple of pitches essentially for Sundays because in the December it's a summer period and completely understandable. It actually took a couple of months because she had Neon Palms and stuff had actually a very busy sort of summer. But with a couple of months I went off, I was just kind of like, okay, maybe it will go through, maybe it won't. But I was just sort of looking forward to the future. And then she reached out and was like, no, we really, really, really like your event. Your one was the event pitch idea that really stuck out to us the most. So let's run with it. Let's do it. And I was like, fantastic, awesome. And then, that meant that the first one, we ran it on the 27th of April, which was a Sunday. Yep. As I said, invited a bunch of industry professionals down. It was a really, really great turnout. I also ran an open decks, which gave some amazing opportunities for people in the industry to showcase their DJ skills. One of them being a little ripper of a DMB DJ.
Oh, is this the kid?
This is the kid.
Yes. This is the kid. So, if you're watching, I want to get you on here.
Yeah. So
very impressive.
His name is Arian, right? Now, full disclosure, he is a Lab 6 student of mine.
Oh, wow, okay.
Right. I trained him from the very start.
How old was he when you trained him?
11.
Yeah, there you
Now
go.
he's a 12-year-old little ripper. Now, I listen... So
kid's
this is the
gone
first one.
places.
I listen to every single mix, and this is like no bias to him being like a past student of mine. I said to him, I'm literally listening to all of it. These are the requirements. And he blew it out of the park. If you haven't seen this little ripper of a kid... Go search him up because
Facebook,
his
Instagram.
he commonly goes on Instagram, Facebook, posting the DMB Perth community. I think the pages Arion Arion, that first one there.
I gotta say, like, this might be Arian, if you're keen, definitely come on and hit me up, and I'll probably hit you up soon as well. But Jasper, this might be the first episode we're gonna have to get like a parental waiver thing. His dad will probably come in and have a beer with us.
Honestly, both his mum and dad are absolute legends. The whole family are legends.
It's inspiring to see this.
Yeah, but we've had so many conversations around it, and he absolutely smashed out. But being a 12-year-old, normally you'd have to wait 6 years to 18 to get that sort of experience. So actually, there's a video up there. So that one there. That was the Industry Link event for the first one.
Look at him go.
Yeah, and that's me doing an interview with the Sizzle Studio boys. Because at that point, I can narrate it, Arian was actually playing one of my tracks at that time, so that's why I heard it. I got excited, and I had to sort of, get up on that. You saw there, Arian's on a milk crate because he's so tiny. But it was like an awesome experience.
What a legend.
He loves it. And he did an awesome job there. So,
you can tell he's good at what he's doing as well. Like, he's practiced. You can tell he's practiced.
He is just, he's dedicated, he's awesome, and he's making waves already, being a 12-year-old little ripper. So big shout out to him. But going back to the Industry Link event, that was the whole point of the open decks. I wanted to give, these opportunities for, these DJs, these creatives to, display what it is that they can do. So the first one was a very, very great success, and we're running it.
Follow.
We're running it back this Sunday at Neon Palms again.
So it's a monthly event.
So aiming for monthly, but once every month, 2 months.
Just trying to get it going.
Yeah, trying to.
It's going, but just finding
exactly. Just like anything, you always go build it up, but. This event is for the industry, any money that gets generated from ticket sales, from, anything, it will always go back into this event. And, some new things that I'm doing for this event compared to the last one was that we're doing a official industry panel talk so this will be from 5 till 6. I have the 8 new industry professionals coming down for this event. So I've got the likes of Tina Says, I've got Rovi Rush, I've got Don Doroka, I've got one Blackout. That's 1-800 Blackout if you follow his Instagram bio. I have got Jeff Shrapnel down. I have got Swaglot Savannah, Mitch Crisp, and Josh Clay. So all amazing industry professionals in their own right, covering a wide base of knowledge. You've got marketing, you've got event promotions, you've got being an artist, you've got being a full-time DJ, kind of like social media, everything. Yeah. So
how is it going to work though? So you're going to like ask them questions, or
so I am going to get them to introduce themselves. Yep. I am then going to ask each of them 2 questions that will help generate sort of just general conversation, all that. And then that should take up the first half of it. The second half is literally live Q&A. So just like everyone that's there, get to actually talk to them and ask the questions that they want to, and really give back. And that was a bit of feedback that we received of, wanting to have that sort of ask that particular question that they're thinking about. Because, being in that social setting where it's like trying to like talk to someone, there may be say one industry professional that 50 people want to talk to at one time, but then it could go to then another industry professional walk to the door, and then those 50 people, 30 of them want to go to that one, 20 of them stay there. This is just for a hypothetical scenario, right? So we seeked feedback from after the first one, being like, what is it that you guys want to see? What is it that you'd think basically what is it we want to see? Applied the feedback, and this is why now we're doing the first industry panel, and really just catering to educational and make sure that everyone that attends gets the most out of it, really.
It's all volunteer in a way as well. Like they're volunteering their time to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm making sure that they get looked after with, some food, some drinks, as a stock standard, because the food at Neon Palms is so good. Oof, it is fantastic.
I'm a foodie, so.
Me and you both.
Yeah.
That's where we're changing it up this time. I am running the open decks again because it was such a great success.
That was just, that looked epic.
Yeah.
That looked really cool.
Yeah.
But it's obviously not stupid loud, but it's like you can just talk to each other, but then you can still hear it.
Yeah.
In crystal clear,
When it comes to open decks, the music generally does get turned up a little bit because that's where people, want to,
Some
support.
people push the trim, yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, make sure, no redlining.
Yeah.
Stock standard 101 of DJing. But yeah, it's when it's like the industry professionals are down there, that's where it's like, okay, cool, good vibes, great music, cheap drinks as well. What's not to love about that?
Yeah.
And then, when it's like, cool, open decks, that's where it's like, okay, cool, let's showcase, let's see what we've got, and, just support and bring that community up. We're running second one's this Sunday. There's only a handful of tickets left, really. They've been, proceeding along pretty well. So essentially, yeah. If whoever's watching this, if what I've described is literally for you, grab one now. Come down, see it.
Head on down.
Yeah.
How much are tickets? Out of curiosity?
Tickets are just $20.
$20.
Yeah. $20 for
how long does it go for as well?
It goes from 3 till 10.
7 hours for $20 is pretty good.
Yeah, when you break it up over that way. The ticket link up there.
That'll probably be a booking fee or something. Right?
Yeah, I think that fee goes to Megatix. So 22.09, if you will.
Yep.
But Megatix need to make a little bit of money for all that sort of stuff.
That's how it always is.
That's basically what we're doing on Sunday. And this event, it's my dream, my goal to run this around Perth and grow it with every single event. And my long-term goal of this is I want to run the industry link around Australia.
I can see that happening.
Yeah, I've already received interest and reach out from the other states in Australia. And the main interest is, they want to have something like this around there. So there's a market, there's a demand for it. And
this is
I want to give that, essentially.
Yeah. This is the biggest thing, is that people aren't drinking as much anymore. People aren't going out as much anymore because of all these factors and this and that. But having things like this, where even if you're just interested in music, it isn't focused on going to a dark nightclub or this or that or whatever. It's just focusing on hanging out and you're reinventing the wheel in a way.
Yeah, and with this event as well, this event is also catered for people that, if you're not in the creative industry, if you're not an artist, but if you support your mates or enjoy a good time or are a foodie, as you were saying, come down for a great Sunday vibe, kind of like you would do on a Sunday sesh on a summer's day, right?
Exactly.
But Sunday sessions on a summer's day generally are quite jam-packed, and there's other elements to it. This is just a great time, and I know a lot of people that are coming down on Sunday that they're not DJs, they're not promoters, but you never know. After it, they could be inspired. And I hope people leave with inspiration that they didn't have when they first arrived for the event.
And they just turn around and go, I want to go back. I can't wait for the next one.
Exactly.
That's all you want, is just people to leave your event and just go, that was wicked.
Exactly. So that's the Industry Link event in a nutshell. And come on down.
That's epic. Who did your graphics for it? Did you do all your own graphics?
So the first event, I got.
Is it just you as well? Is there a team behind you?
No. So this is all run by myself. Sort of that. So the logo essentially and the first sort of marketing aspects. Furman helped me with that one. So big shout out to Furman. He really sort of helped but I had that sort of image of the logo, the link connecting, and he put that to fruition in that, so he helped with that sort of the branding, that side of things, a little bit of artwork sort of stuff. And then for the second one, I'm working with another graphic designer. She's been absolutely amazing. Big shout out Emma. Sort of just following the same sort of color scheme. Want to keep it bright, want to keep it open.
Color scheme. I like the orange, the blue. It's bright. It's it's nice.
And it's minimalistic. That is also me in terms of like style, if you will. So yeah, just sort of keeping it on that sort of basis.
Let's
Really.
pull up the Instagram page.
Yeah.
How have you found it also managing your own businesses, like your own DJing, your production, everything, then also bolting this onto everything as well?
So normally when you add on another thing, if you're doing it, so, you know, before I was doing the Industry Link event, I was, you know, I am a music artist. I'm making music and have releases scheduled upcoming. That never stops because I enjoy that so much. You know, I perform around Perth and Australia, you know, when getting booked to, you know, showcase. And I've been doing it for some time. So, you know, when festival season kicks in that, you know, I am working at Lab 6, teaching music production and DJing. I'm still doing that, yes.
Yeah, wow. So you got so much on the plate.
Yeah.
But it's good, though, because it's all related.
It is. And
that's what's good as well.
You know, so I am doing quite a lot, and a lot of people know me to do quite a lot. And I did think, you know, with adding this on, was this actually going to, you know, add more, like, you know, sort of like time management's always like one of those things where sometimes it can be a bit tricky to navigate. But believe it or not, running this event's actually made me more time management savvy.
Okay, yeah.
It's weird. I was
good,
saying this to Georgie, like, wasn't too long ago. I was like, I actually feel more grounded and I feel more prepared, more aware of time management and applying it to, you know, this event, but then also to other practices. So, you know, like my Lab 6 teachings and that business and that side of things, you know, my own releases, my own schedule of, you know, pushing my artist brands, which there will be a new development coming very soon. I can't disclose too much, but with the Michael Caird music, essentially, there will be
something in the works.
There's a couple things in the works. I can't yet announce. So I do have more than one.
Yeah, you talked
basically
before, yeah.
watch the socials.
Yeah.
All will be revealed very soon.
Things are happening.
Things are always happening. But yeah, can't disclose that yet. But
Yep.
it'll come very soon.
So
yeah, to essentially answer your question, this event, because it's one of my passions and one of my drives, it's actually helped me manage my time. Go figure.
That's so good.
Go figure.
You just bolt something extra on. You're like, wait a minute. Now
Yeah.
I need to structure everything.
Yeah, but my biggest tips I give to anyone in the music industry is use like a notepad, use like notes, or use the reminders app on your phone. Like, I use the reminders app. Like, if you've got iPhone and you don't use the reminders app, time to wake up, use it. Like, you might be able to see this on screen. I've got all of these reminders. Some of these, like, are repeated. Now, people would look at that sometimes and be like, what the hell? That's so chaos. But I'm a creative, like a lot of people out there in the world. I am diagnosed ADHD, and I'm pretty sure actually last podcast we spoke about ADHD and my journey
ADHD
behind that.
well, yeah.
You know, that's pretty much everyone in the creative
It's a
industry.
blessing, in a way, as long
it
as
is.
you can control it.
But because my mind's always going a
million
million miles an hour,
Same thing, yeah.
you know, I'll think of an idea, and that idea will be great. But if I don't write it down, and if I don't have something that later will then remind me of that said idea, that idea is gone.
Yeah.
And trying to then remember that, you could, you know,
Yep.
sort of vouch for that as
so
well.
many times,
It's hard, such a harder thing to remember that idea that you initially had. So using a reminders app, I'll be like, right. As I said, I did that when I was fortunate to meet the Track Stack lads, and, you know, it was so great catching up with them and meeting them and putting faces to the names. And they were like, oh, like, we'd love to do a story about you. You know, if I didn't put that in a reminder, I most likely would have forgotten and be like, oh, what was that thing that I was meant to do, right? And, you know, from there, who knows what will happen if I didn't actually follow that through, right? So I use the reminders app, and, you know, I set time to try to, like, think of things of like, okay, I have got this coming up, you know, I've got a release coming up in 2 weeks. You know, there's generally a schedule to follow of, like, you know, if you've got a release of like, okay, cool, you want to post about a pre-save link, you know, about a week and a half, 2 weeks before. So, you know, what's the idea of getting that out there? How are you going to do it? Right. Think of the idea, set the reminder. You know, then a week into it, you know, start teasing it a little bit here, right? Content ideas from it. What are the content ideas? You figure that out. Cool. Whatever that idea you develop from it, that's what you do. That's what you put to it.
Brainstorm it.
Exactly.
Build that
And
brainstorm.
there are times I said where I'll be like, cool, 20 minutes or 30 minutes or so where it's like brainstorming. And then, okay, the reminders app might be looking empty after this brainstorm session. It will be stacked and stacked. But the great thing with the reminders app is you can then set times. You can set like repeat. You could do it by hourly, fortnightly, daily,
whatever.
every second, every third day, whatever it is. And then when, you're doing your work or doing something else, you get the reminder. It's like, I need to do that. And then it helps with time management. That's what I've personally used and I've developed from it. It works for some people, but it's not going to work for everyone. Everyone has their own way of being organized and manage their time. Some people will use notes apps. Some people will actually need to physically do it. Some people need to write it down physically. Yeah. So whatever, it is for you out there, essentially try all different methods. Whatever the one that resonates most, do it. But that's something that, I have found to help me manage my time with doing the Industry Link event, running my own music career, all that stuff.
Producing music, and then also teaching kids how to make music, and then everything else you're doing.
Exactly that. But I love it.
Yeah. That's what matters.
I absolutely love it. And, I can't ever not see myself doing it. I joke around to this, but it's not even a joke. I am very serious when I say this, but I will be that, 40, 50-year-old still going to events that, resonate with me if I enjoy it.
Yeah.
And if I love it. And if I love it, cool. Say no more.
Do it till you drop.
Absolutely.
If your heart's in it, your heart's in it.
Exactly.
And that's what matters.
That's what Industry Link event is for me. I've got my goals for it and I'm going to achieve them. I know that much. A little bit of dedication to it. The music is always my main drive, my own focus, as I said. Announcements coming very soon. And the teaching side of things, Lab 6, I think I was at Lab 6 last time I came on the podcast. And I have the weekends and it's been fantastic there,
Do a big shout out to Jeremy.
Yeah.
Still kicking, still going.
Big shout out to Jeremy. Lab 6 is actually sponsoring the Industry Link event. So there will also be a couple of Lab 6 vouchers floating around at the Industry Link event. So basically, if you're coming through, come and have a chat with me. And you never know, there may be a Lab 6 voucher potentially earned.
That's pretty good.
But you got to come. So
you got to go to get the free lesson or the voucher or whatever you could use it for.
Yeah, whatever it is. Essentially, it's a free lesson, and it could be a DJ lesson. It could be a music production lesson. It could be a sound design lesson. It could be a mixing mastering lesson. Anything that's within the music creation and delivery sort of process, which is what Lab 6 is. That's what you could potentially be winning.
Yeah. It sounds amazing. It sounds really good.
Thank you.
We're running out of time. We've only got another 5-10 minutes.
Okay.
Where can people find you? So you've obviously got the event this Sunday, but where else can they find you other than Lab 6 as well?
So they can find me at Lab 6. Yep. They can also find me at the Industry Link event.
Yep.
I am playing shows every so often. I say that every so often, but I am actually playing at the Vault this Saturday. And the Vault, absolutely mad love to the boys, respect to the boys.
Big shout out to Isaac and Bailey.
They're doing amazing things and continuously doing amazing things. And every it's been I think a few months since played there, so I was like, cool, working with them, and we're playing this weekend. And then I think after that, I will be locking in on the studio and finishing off some music projects. So you might not see me a little bit as much out, but when it comes to the summer, there will be shows.
That's it. It's just winter.
There will be events. Yeah. But I am always on my socials. So, I always want to encompass that, energy, that openness that the Industry League event essentially does, and what I always try to encourage in myself and who I am as a person. That also came with a sense of maturity and maturing through the years of doing this, and and one of the main reasons why I rebranded to Michael Caird. That is who I am. So if anyone really essentially has a question, you can DM me on Instagram. I will get to it eventually. As you've all learned, I do a lot of shit.
that's
So,
it.
you know, please forgive me if I don't instantly reply. But I get to everyone, and you know, I want to help build that community. And as I said, you know, that's not just in Perth. That is all around Australia, and you know, building an ADE based level in Australia. That's the goal.
We need more people like you.
Thank you very much. But there will be a lot more crazy people
Yeah.
if
We'll get
if
you
that was
back on as well in a couple of years, 100%, or soon even. I don't know.
who knows.
Yeah.
Well, we're
6
done. We're
months,
done
a
3
year,
years. So this time, 3 years time. Yeah,
maybe. I don't know. It seems like it's too long. Like,
it does. When you put it into perspective like that, 3 years, it's way too long.
but it
'Cause
flies as well.
it does indeed. But you know, time. It's like saying time flies when you're having fun.
Exactly. That's exactly it. Let's end it on that though. But yes, thank you so much. This has been great.
No,
This
it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for having me again. And yeah, big shout out to yourself, all the team, and yeah, come down on Sunday.
Yeah, I'm working from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m.
Well,
but I'll come
it
down
runs to
after.
10 p.m.
That's it. I'll come down after.
I'll see you there.
Yeah, I definitely will come down after.
Excellent. And I'll see all of you down there.
Yeah. That's it. If you're watching, definitely check it out. It looks incredible. It looks so good. And this is stuff that we need in Perth. This is like, we need more. What you're doing here is great, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen to it. Because you've only done one event,
Yeah.
and so this is the second one, and then
Who knows?
Who knows?
Well, I'm ready for it regardless, and it's
I'm
we're
excited.
here to stay, and we're going to grow every single event.
I'm excited to see what happens. It's going to be epic.
Thank you. That's you and me both.
Yeah. All right. Next week we have. Let's have a look. I do this every single week. We have Andrew Wilding. I think he's a DJ.
Big ups, Andrew.
Big ups to Andrew. If you're watching, I can't wait to have you on next week. This happens all the time because I book so many people, and I book like 4 months in advance. So then I need
So
to
you're
write,
organised?
Yeah, I'm organised, but I need to write more detailed notes, being like, "This is the guest. This is what they do." I can't wait to have you on next week, Andrew. It's gonna be good. Trust me, we'll make it work. We'll dive into all the creative stuff that you do. All right.
What a legend.
Yeah, that's it. All right. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for everything. And thank you to Jasper as well for doing everything that he does. And also, thank you to the guest. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you very much for having me, boys. Big shout out, Jasper, the GOAT.
Yeah.
And thank you to Infra-Red. And I look forward to next time we can catch up, have a chat. And
We'll be doing it.
yeah, it's going to happen.
It's going to happen. All right. We'll see you guys next week with another episode. Episode 253.
Oof.
Oh, my God. The number just keeps growing. All right. Catch you guys. All right. We'll see you next week. Bye.
See you guys.